Hi Team Rerun, Physio Megan here. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about osteoarthritis and the age-old debate around wear and tear. Now there was a recent review in the European Journal of Rheumatology and it looked at walking, running and multisport activities um, on the structural changes of the knee and in relation to knee osteoarthritis. Now, osteoarthritis is the third fastest growing disease, so there's lots of incentive to understand more about it, prevent it if we can, and treat it well if it occurs. Physical activity is the first line of defense for osteoarthritis. If you are diagnosed with it, you will go and see a physiotherapist and they will give you physical activity. But we need to know that physical activity isn't going to cause disease progression, especially for the likes of the people who are runners. We want to know that if we're encouraging people to run, that they are not then going to progress their osteoarthritis as time goes on. So this study found that walking, running and multisport events did not cause structural changes to the knee. So it doesn't cause this wear and tear effect that often we describe. So we often hear people saying, oh, I'm running now, but I'll pay for it later. What we actually found that was that even into your 70s, this doesn't occur. You still don't get these structural changes as you age. The review also found that if you already have osteoarthritis, it doesn't make it worse. So running will not make your osteoarthritis worse. Also, it doesn't increase the incidence rate of you having surgery down the line. So some really, really key points, because there is still that question as, is this good for my knees? Should I be running? Will this be increasing my risk of osteoarthritis? Will this be making my osteoarthritis worse? And this review shows that running will not do that. Now, there are other things that can increase your risk of osteoarthritis. So this paper highlighted three things. It highlighted obesity. So that's one thing that can increase the incidence of osteoarthritis. And this, one of the things will be linked to the fact that obesity creates a lot of inflammation in the body. And that does have an effect on rheumatological conditions such as osteoarthritis. Previous injury is huge. So if you have had a meniscal injury, an ACL tear, you do increase your chances of developing osteoarthritis as time goes on. So they found that people who had a previous injury had a 33% incident rate of developing away in comparison to 11% of those people who didn't have a previous knee injury. The third one is structural changes that you might have already developed in life. So, for example, if you were born with bow legs, or if you had bony lesions, for example, that would be the other risk factor. So, this brings us on to looking at elite runners versus recreational runners, and they describe this U. So, they describe the people that are very inactive. So very inactive, are likely to be overweight. Your incident rate is high up here. As you become more active, your incident rate of developing osteoarthritis decreases. And this is, we describe it as this sweet spot. So this is probably your very nice, active, recreational runner, maybe doesn't compete very often, or when they do, they are very within a nice, safe parameter in terms of their training. And then as we push our training, probably more people here. As we push our training, as we decide to do that marathon for 10 weeks out, we start to increase the chances of becoming injured and therefore increase the incidence rate of osteoarthritis. So this would be your very, very sort of elite type runner. So obviously there's lots of things that will play into this as well. It's not just the running aspect, but if you are a recreational runner, you're not obese, you have a low incident rate in terms of previous injuries, and you don't have any other bony changes that are developed throughout your lifetime, then your chances of getting osteoarthritis are much lower. But knowing that the running will not increase the chance of you developing osteoarthritis. And if you have already been diagnosed with it, the running will not make the osteoarthritis worse. So I hope you found that helpful. I thought it was a really interesting paper, and I think it's really important that it was reviewed, because we still have these comments, we still have people talking about wear and tear of the knees, and even though we have always thought that it helps, we've never been able to refute some of those claims. So this review helps to do that. It shows that actually there isn't evidence to suggest that we're getting disease progression with increased physical activities such as walking and running. It's an open access paper, so I'll put the link in below. And if you have any questions, then as always, please just pop a comment below. All right, guys, happy running.